The Wheeler family home was for sale. I couldn't believe it. For all my preoccupation over what had transpired in that house, it had never once occurred to me to pay it a visit, or that it might still be standing. In fact, most of my thoughts about the house and what occurred there were just those, thoughts. As with most all disturbing nightmares, I banished these horrors to a cerebral purgatory that was unreachable by mere curiosity. On the few occasions I summoned the nerve to type that dreadful address into my search bar, something always stopped me. Like searching the internet for some softcore porn, you might get more than you bargained for. The house wasn't much different from the listings it was pinched between. White aluminum siding with charcoal-colored shingles, double-mulled windows and a 3-step concrete stoop, a blacktop driveway with a 2-car garage. Same as 100 others I had scrolled past. But this particular nondescript house glared just a little brighter than the rest in the Zillow template it was set in. Enough to stop my scrolling finger dead. 6211 Cat Harpin Road, Franconia, Virginia. Yep, that was my old address. The one Aunt Celia had in her address book with a line drawn through it. My old phone number had been in there too, inked out but still legible. When I was younger and still lived with my aunt, I had dialed the number 1,000 times, but always hung up after the first ring, afraid of what might answer. A slight chill ran down my spine as I leaned closer to study the business card-sized photograph. I always imagined the house in a collapse of dusty lumber, the spine of a chimney jutting out among the rubble like a fractured bone. A keep-out warning stabbed in the front lawn, not a Remax signpost. Though it was no more than a 30 to 40-minute drive away, being on the other side of the Beltway, it might as well have been in Beirut. I had asked Aunt Celia to take me once, and she had specifically said that there was nothing to see, which to me meant the house was gone. But it wasn't gone. She just didn't want me to know it was there. Like everything about my family, Aunt Celia thought I couldn't handle the gory details, when in reality she was the one with the weak stomach. She had paced the room to tell me how my family died, one hand over her mouth, one covering her eyes, and bemoaning my need to know every step of the way. I just wanted to finish my homework assignment before Futurama started. The My Family Tree template had been pre-printed on yellow construction paper. All I had to do was write in the names. I knew my family was dead, so that hadn't been news to me, but that didn't mean I couldn't complete the assignment. I also knew from my cousin, Leah, that their deaths were really gross, but Leah thought everything was gross. Up until then, I thought it was just a car crash type of gross. I wasn't prepared for Aunt Celia to cut down my family tree with an axe. As I touched my pencil to the leaf marked Father, Aunt Celia snatched up my assignment, wrote a note to my teacher, and stapled it shut. By the time I thought of a few 100,000 questions to ask her, the Q&A part of our conversation about my family had closed and remained closed for the duration of my childhood. That included the house. The shutters and front door were a different color than they once were. I wasn't sure if I liked the cottage red. They were hunter green in the one exterior snapshot I possessed. I wondered where that picture had gotten to. Probably dumped in a box somewhere along with all the rest. When I was growing up, Aunt Celia doled out family photos like they were part of my allowance, reluctantly and not without a heavy sigh. Though Aunt Celia claimed each picture was the last she had, there always seemed to be one more hidden away somewhere. Most of the pictures were taken inside the house around the holidays, but one group shot was taken on the front stoop of the house I was currently scrutinizing online. I could almost see the shadow of us sitting on the front steps. Michael sulking under his ball cap, my mother burping me over her shoulder, Josh and Eddie hamming it up with fierce grins, the blur of my father as he slid into frame just before time ran out. I hovered the cursor over the View tab, afraid to click. I felt a bit like a child who'd found a gun in a shoebox under her parents' bed. Now I had found it, I might as well touch it. Now I'd touched it, I might as well pick it up. Now I'd picked it up, I might as well point it at my face. The lure of such accessible danger was irresistible. Something deep inside that wanted you to slip your finger around the trigger and pull. Not because you wanted to harm yourself, but just that you suddenly could. I clicked the tab,